Before a big leap is a reimagining period. Before I had my first $400,000 cash month, it was $465,000 and over $1 million in sales. I went through a period of deeply reimagining myself. And I took a lot of time to think about what I wanted to create intimately and very intently. So I'll walk you through what happened. Last year in September, I had spent over a year putting together Freedom Queen Live, which is an annual conference that I put on every year. It was the pinnacle of, at that time, what I wanted to create, and it was a lot of work. It was really, really difficult. Hundreds and thousands of dollars. No one in the industry at that time was putting on events like this. I mean, and still, with the wait till you see the level of production quality I have for Freedom Queen Live this year. Like, I raised the bar at every new level. This year's going to be insane. But last year, it was the first time. And I put in so much effort to this event. And then the week of Freedom Queen Live, a hurricane hit that area. And there hadn't been a hurricane in that area like this in 100 years. But God will do things in your life. Things will happen in your life that are literally, you can't imagine them happening. You can't even see how it's going to be working out for you. God will literally create a hurricane in this situation. And not, obviously wasn't a good situation, but it was such a blessing for many reasons in my life, despite the simultaneous pain that came with it alongside of it. And so I had to reschedule Freedom Queen Live. And during that time, I was very hurt. Like, I was very, I was managing a lot of different things all going on at once in the business, managing rescheduling a 400-person event and all that comes with that, and a lot of other problems that came up at the same time while also growing the company. And the best thing I did, because I knew I had an opportunity to really leap despite the mass pain that I was going through, because sometimes in order to go through some of your biggest leaps, you're also going to go through your biggest struggles. The quote, disruption follows intention, is one of my favorite, right? I was intent on doing something and disruption followed it. And so I know that was the way, like that was how I was actually going to get through what I was experiencing, was to go through massive amounts of pain. And God opened up so many doors in that experience. I mean, I got the best team ever came my way. The business grew, my happiness grew, my relationship deepened in that process. And then I spent an entire month just reimagining the big leap. I was like, okay, I have time, intention. It wasn't about slowing down. It was about being intentional about what the world was that I wanted to create. And so I really started to dream of the Freedom Queen world of like, okay, if I can create anything, if you can create anything that you want to create, what would it be? What would you create on this planet? And so I started sharing it with my team. I'm like, this is what I want. This is where we're going. This is how you play a role in this. This is what we're going to do for clients. This is how I want people to experience Freedom Queen. And I put everything in that new focus direction. I imagined everything, client experience, how people pay me. I imagined my branding. I imagined how much money I was making every month. I imagined how I felt in the company. I imagined the relationships that I had with clients. And I have that business today, but I also created that business that very next month in November. So I spent an entire month of October, and of course, I also mean like I was also grieving and hurt and crying and feeling things, like going into the dark hole. I remember making a post. I was like, I didn't find Freedom Queen at the top of the mountain. You find your movement. You find your spirit. You find what you're meant to create in the pit. And when I found Freedom Queen in the pit, she was this woman that was just like dancing and singing in the depths of the darkness of what I was experiencing at that time. And what the wisdom that I gathered from that was worth the entire experience of pain that I walked through. And that next month, I had a $400,000 cash month, had a multi-six-figure cash day, had a $1 million sales month plus, and did the most successful Freedom Queen Live ever. It was amazing. I mean, it was truly incredible. And what I've built for this year makes that look like baby, which is saying something. And so I chose to, the point of this is that before the big leap, I really took time to think about what I wanted to create. And whether you're reading this on a Friday afternoon, listening to this over the weekend, I want you to carve out time for you to think about what it is that you're building, what you want to create around your brand, what you want to bring forward into the world, and be intentional about that. Because the more that you lean into that piece, the more that you actually think like, okay, I'm just a match for whatever I want to bring forward. And you think about, well, what are you a match for right now? Are you a match for average, or are you a match for extraordinary? And you become a match for extraordinary, the big leap, the extraordinary thing that you want to create, the big thing, the next level version of you. What happens is it will come to you. And it might feel like in that moment you're slowing down or you're taking time or whatever. Well, you are taking time. You're intent on it. Rather than hectically and chaotically trying to figure it out, you calm your system down. You say, okay, I'm going to build something really extraordinary. I'm going to build something out of this world. Something that I've never created for. I'm going to make it amazing, spectacular, over the top. You will reap the reward. While everyone else is frantically trying to figure out the next best strategy, you're growing a brand that really moves people. Something that really actually makes people believe in your work. Something that makes people want to be a part of what it is that you're creating and making. And then you will leap. So what I want you to do is, obviously we're in the Big Leap podcast challenge. So all of the different incentives are listed below. Google reviews, podcast reviews, listening to it, comment on the Facebook group thread so that I can make sure that you're getting counted, because the one winner is going to get a shout out each week. And then at Freedom Queen Live, one person's going to get an interview at the podcast, Freedom Queen podcast booth. But I want you to comment on the Facebook post saying you listen to this audio, more so that I can hear that you've listened to this, so that I can know that you are intentionally building. Actually, you know what? Better yet, what I want you to do, here's what I want you to do. I want you to make a post inside of our Freedom Queen Facebook group and just say, I am preparing for my big leap. Just make a Facebook post in our group. I don't care how many people do this. I don't care when you do it. I don't care if it's 3 years from now and you're doing it. I want you to post there, because I know when a queen looks at everything that she's doing and she goes, okay, I'm going to build now. I've decided. I'm doing this. I'm creating this. That everything starts to work out for you in your favor. So post inside of the Freedom Queen Facebook group, I am preparing for the big leap. And of course, if you want to participate in the Big Leap podcast challenge and get entered to win the features and the podcast interview in person, one person will be picked at the end of this month, then you can go ahead and follow the instructions below.